It's beautiful to connect with you today. So if you don't mind, I'll just start by just sharing just a little bit about myself. I am Jaitara, and I am a mentor of sacred sexuality. I'm also a breath worker, and I also help people clear on a cellular level the emotional residue from their past so they can live fully in the present. I'm a lover of dance. When I work with people, dance is always an aspect of my work. I facilitate transformational dance, dance that connects you deeply to spirit, opens your heart, and helps you fall more deeply in love with your body. I am 64 years young. And I know it is my work of how I've integrated my spirit body with my sexual, physical, primal body that has contributed to my youthfulness and my vitality. Of course, combined with a healthy diet, lots of water, and some movement. And what planted the seed for me to get into this work back in 1999, I had a huge message from Spirit. Because we have so little time today, I'm going to give you the shortest version of this because I really want to dive into the content. And on that day, I had a huge awakening. A big message came to me in the form of a billboard, actually, that communicated and woke me up for the first time that I had actually been sexually abused, exploited, and manipulated as a young teen. And that day I had immediately had a breakdown, which very quickly transcended into a breakthrough. And it set me on a beautiful journey of self-exploration, having my own conversations with God, wanting to understand more how my sexual energy integrates with my connection with God's source. It also sent me on an emotional healing journey. And it was on that journey that I discovered the breath work that was so powerful for me in clearing all of the emotional residue of the past. So what I am left with is the wisdom of the experience. That's what's happened when you clear the emotional residue from past experience, from past trauma. The pain transcends to wisdom. And that planted the seed for me to want to do this work, to want to share this with women and men. I work primarily with women, but my work is also open to men as well, especially in the form of couples. I also offer some private coaching. And I'm going to dive in as deep as I can in the time that we have. But as you know, the time is short. So I will share with you at the end of this talk if you want to take a deeper dive, a nice deep dive journey for me. I have something very new and exciting to share with you. All right, my loves, I'll be putting my glasses on and off. When I look into the camera, I love to have them off so you can really connect with my eyes. And wonderful, we have some more people in the room. So let's just dive in. It's now 10:07. So welcome, welcome, my loves. Here's a quote by Napoleon Hill. The individuals of greatest achievement tend to be those who have highly developed sexual natures and who have learned the art of sex transmutation. Years ago, Napoleon Hill wrote his book, Think and Grow Rich, and there was an entire chapter devoted on sex transmutation. Very few people really understood what that meant. Well, I do. We're going to dive into some of that. You see, before we came into these physical bodies, if you're here in this summit, that means you're on a spiritual path. You were drawn to here for a reason. You're drawn here because you're on a spiritual path. So you understand that before we came into these physical bodies, we're pure non-physical divine intelligence. Your father had an orgasm. Hopefully, your mother was orgasmic as well, and the two came together from love. But however it was a divine design for you to exist here now. Through that orgasm, you became a seed planted in the womb, and the first thing to grow inside that womb was your heart. And the rest of your body grew around your heart. So sexual energy is the power cord, the energy that makes it possible to go from being a non-physical divine intelligence to being non-physical divine spiritual intelligence, having a human experience inside a physical, primal, sexual, organic as well, orgasmic body. Because sexual energy is what brings us from the spirit realm into the physical, it also has the ability, when we know how to align it, when we know how to merge together our light body with our physical body, it has the ability to also, while in the physical body, while in the physical experience, to take us into beautiful, blissful realms, awakenings, and transcendent experience connecting with the divine realm. When we merge our divine spirit body with our primal physical body, from a space of peacefulness with everyone from our past, it is a joy unlike any other. It is our divine design. Our physical experience with sexuality becomes more expansive, and our connection to source also becomes more expansive. It's because it's how we're designed, or it would not be possible. Now, I want to be clear here. Sexual energy does not necessarily mean having the act of sex. The second chakra, the sacral chakra, which is the energy activation point for our sexual energy, is also the energy activation point for our creative energy. They're one and the same. Sexual energy is what created us as a human being, as a spiritual being having a human experience. It is the root of our creative force. And just like a tree, if our roots are constricted, unhealthy, contracted in any way, we can never blossom to our full potential. When our roots are nourished, expansive, and healthy, unlimitless potential is available in how we can show up, how we create, and be present in the world. Especially for women, this is true. This is true for men as well, but especially for women, there seems to be a direct connection of our sexual energy to our throat as well. They're all connected. So if there's any unresolved wounding, if there's been any contraction, any unresolved relationships, I know the statistics, so I know a percentage of you listening and watching this today have had, unfortunately, an experience of sexual abuse. If you haven't experienced sexual abuse, you may have experienced contraction through religion, through upbringing, or harassment in some way. We are all impacted by this. So what happens if you're holding back to protect this vulnerable aspect of yourself? You're holding back, period, and it filters on into every area of our life. So once you create peace and inner peace with this beautiful sexual energy, and make peace with everyone from your past, it opens you up. Your shoulders go back. It opens you up to a vibrance and a radiance and a freedom of expression in every area of your life. Yes, in relationships. Yes, how you communicate in intimacy. And how you communicate and show up in the world and share your message. How you show up on the dance floor when you're dancing. Are your shoulders rounded, protecting this vulnerable aspect of yourself? Are you, does it show up with tension in your body, or your shoulders rounding as a form of protection? Or are you on the dance floor free and open? How are you dancing through life? So I wrote a book, here it is right here, called The Four Sacred Laws of Sexual Enlightenment. This was definitely a divine download. I'm just going to put my glasses on for a moment. So these are 4 key sexual practices that when you fully embody and integrate them into your life, they create the alignment necessary for you to engage in the art of sex transmutation for divine flow. So let's just dive into these. I'm just going to keep an eye on the clock because I have a lot I want to share, and I don't want to spend way too much time on one topic and have to cut short on the others. All right, so these 4 elements, these 4 sacred laws, are these 4 sexual practices. I call them sacred laws because although it's not mandatory, you practice them. Just like the law of gravity, when you do embody these laws and when you do embrace them, it's guaranteed that you will have enlightened experience with regards to your sexual expression, that you'll be able to show up more fully and liberated in your expression, including your creative expression, that you'll have a deeper soul connection and intimacy. If you're a coach, a healer, work with others, you'll be able to create a deeper soul connection with those you work with. It affects and impacts every area of your life. Everything is connected. So let's dive into the first sacred law. The first sacred law is the gift. Embracing and embodying and honoring our sexual energy as the gift of life. Now, if we're not activating sexual energy to create a new human, then we can activate our sexual energy to create a new human life. Or sorry, to breathe new life in our body is what I love about live video. I can fumble and it's okay. It just is. So yes, so embracing and embodying and honoring our sexual energy as the gift of life. Whether it's creating a new human or breathing new life through us. We were meant to experience pleasure. Life is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to feel joyful, pleasurable. If we were only meant to activate our sexual energy for the purpose of procreation, then just like many of the animal kingdom, we would only go into heat every 9 months. But that's not the case. We are designed to enjoy this energy. And I want to be clear here, I'm not just speaking about a sexually active life. I'm going to also address how you can have a sacred sexual practice while also being celibate. Again, sexual energy is an energy that lives in our body no matter what. And if your choice is celibacy, then it must come from a place of peacefulness and contentment versus pain, contraction, or avoidance. Excuse me, I just need a little tissue because I have an itchy nose. It's distracting me. So the gift, honoring sexual energy as a gift. Honoring the masculine and feminine essence which lives within each of us, whether you're a man or woman, we each have a certain degree of masculine and feminine essence within us. So honoring the beautiful polarity of that within you as well as with one another. Honoring the miracle of your beautiful body temple. And even if some of you don't consider your body temple beautiful, then I'm going to invite you to shift your perspective and recognize that your body is a beautiful temple that houses your spirits. You can have this physical experience, and it is so loyal. Your body is serving you every day. Your heart beats every moment of every day. No matter what we put into our bellies, our body works so hard to process it. So if there's something you don't like about your body physically, then you can shift and adjust it from a place of love. I personally put on, and I'm only 5'2", so it was very noticeable. I put on 20 pounds when I went into quarantine. I was already about 20 pounds over my ideal weight. And I've lost almost all of that. And it just got to a point where I was just indulging and enjoying the laziness and of just kicking it up, being at home and just eating whatever I want, just indulging the pleasure of that. And then one day I realized, wait a minute, this is starting to feel a little uncomfortable. It's time now to reverse it. And I would talk to my belly sometimes when I put bread in it, and it would swell out and say, thank you so much, beautiful belly. Thank you for working so hard. Thank you. So how do you communicate with your body? If it's not the shape that you want, you say, oh, I hate my thighs, I hate my butt, I hate my belly. Or you say, beautiful body, thank you so much for taking such good care of me. I'm going to do my best to take better care of you. So it's okay to want to shift your body, but to do so from a place of love versus disdain, and really embrace the gift of your body temple. The second sacred law is forgiveness, making peace with everyone and everything from your past so you can live fully in the present. Now, if you've been sexually abused, raped, I know this sometimes can sound a little easier said than done. And I actually have a forgiveness. It's a 9-minute guided meditation, forgiveness meditation on my website. At this point in time, you don't have to sign up for it. If you just go to jaitara.com/store, it's there for you to just hit the play button and listen to. And basically, what I do is I take you through a process where you shift your perspective. So rather than pointing and focusing on what your abuser did, you shift your perspective and taking them back in time until you see them as this young child, asking, what was their environment like? How were they loved? What were they being taught? So it shifts your perspective to seeing them as this wounded child, because every abuser at one point was abused. Doesn't condone what they did. They still have to take responsibility, but it takes you to a place where you can shift your perspective, making the forgiveness process where you can free yourself from the energetic connection of them. Because now you're in a place of understanding. From a place of understanding, you can then go to forgiveness. So now you're looking at the why behind it versus focusing on the what. The third sacred law is responsibility. There's many, many layers to that, and I could spend hours on that. So we're not going to go into much depth today, but I'll just go over. If you get my book, this is all laid out in detail. And so the third sacred law is responsibility. Responsibility of communication. Responsibility of, sorry, I'm looking at my notes here and I'm not seeing the part I wanted to share. So I'll just talk without the notes because I'm not seeing what I wanted to see. Responsibility of communication, responsibility of power, responsibility, taking responsibility for your own health, responsibility to truth, lifestyle responsibility. There's many, 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 many layers to this. And the one that I am most passionate about is our responsibility to how we communicate with our youth. We are in a crazy time right now. We're all aware of that. You know, the 2020 is a crazy year. It's really important we move through it with humor. The world has always been crazy, but we're seeing it in our face more than ever before right now. It started before 2020. The first wave that I recognized was the Me Too movement. All this calling out happened. All these people who thought they were untouchable due to their elite status are now in prison, took their own life. They're paying for what they did. So that was like the first wave. I believe right now, why this is such a crucial time in history, I believe the frequency of the planet is rising to such a point that the light has increased and the darkness cannot hide. So that's why there's so much darkness being exposed right now. The planet's going through a detox. And you know, if you've ever done a detox on your body, you know it gets a lot messier and feels a lot worse before it starts to feel better. I believe that's what we're experiencing right now. And now I'm seeing a lot of posts on social media. There's actually a march happening in downtown Vancouver right now to protest child sex trafficking. Child sex trafficking, I'm just going to touch on this for a moment, but it needs to be said. It needs to be acknowledged and spoken into. Child sex trafficking is the fastest growing business in crime today. Let that sink in. More than drugs, more than guns, because those they can only sell once. A child they can sell over and over and over again. And the children are as young as toddlers. I believe that this is a manifestation that's been created on a global level because of how we've been speaking into and approaching the topic of sex. There's been a compartmentalized and a segregation between who we are spiritually and who we are sexually. If you look at mainstream media, it's either a taboo topic that we don't talk about or it's very exploited. You know, women for years have been going through the two archetypes, the virgin or the whore, with nothing in between. It's time we change the conversation around this. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Who we are spiritually and who we are sexually are integrated. It is our divine design. So when we sever them, we become fragmented. We become distorted. There's only so much we can do. I know myself, I'm not in the law. I'm not I don't work in the legal profession, so I can't go in and arrest and find these pedophiles, and I can't rescue the children. I'm not in a position to do that, as many of us are not. So what can we do other than talk about it? Let's go back to the tree. If we keep planting unhealthy seeds, we're going to keep having unhealthy trees. Right now, today, there are babies being born. And if we don't start creating a shift right now, some of those babies will grow up to be abuse victims. Some of those babies will grow up to be abusers. So what can we do? What can we do to start to create a shift of energy so the new ones coming in, so we can get it at the root, so the new ones coming in experience a different reality? Because as a global consciousness, as a global family, we have to shift the way we speak in sexuality and the way we show up sexually. So what we can do is, starting with ourselves, take responsibility for our own healing. Integrate who you are as a divine spiritual being with who you are sexually. Do what you need to do to free yourself of any judgment, shame, guilt, and show up fully. Have conversations about it. In North America, the sex ed system needs a major, major, major upgrade. Right now, all they're teaching is a biology lesson and a word of caution, and the biology lesson is even incomplete. France is the only country I'm aware of that has complete, full-on training, complete biology lesson, and covering it, sex ed, in a more conscious way. Imagine sex ed, where the children are taught the sacredness of it, the beauty of sexuality, the pleasure of it, the responsibility of it, how to have conscious communication around it, how to honor their own body and their boundaries as well as one another's. Imagine that as our legacy. So that's what we can do. It starts with ourselves, taking responsibility for our healing, having conscious communication, and bringing our own selves in alignment. And that can create a ripple effect as we more and more open to this conversation and step into the powerful truth of who we really are in these bodies, having this human experience. So take a deep breath. I know that was a heavy topic, so let's just stop and take a breath. Nice deep breath in through your nose. And release it out your mouth with some sound. So I'm going to have to, oh my goodness, it's 10:27 already. All right. So the fourth sacred law is the invitation. I love this one. It's like the icing in the cake, inviting the lover essence of God's source, whatever that means to you, into your sexual experience. And this is what you can do to really raise your vibration around your sexual body, around the topic of sex ed, around the topic of sexuality. So let me ask you, when you meditate, are you asking for something? You're just getting into the stillness to just clear the space? Or when you pray for others, you ask, please help this person. Thank you for my strength. Thank you for this. May I receive this? How about if in meditation, we invite spirit to come and experience our physical reality just for the sheer joy of it, just for the joy of sharing with them? I've gotten into this practice, whether it's meditating. If I'm meditating and I'm looking right now, I'm looking out at these beautiful, big, giant cedar tree, blue sky and sunshine. My meditation will say, beautiful, divine team, come and experience this beautiful experience with me. Feel the beauty of these trees. Feel the beauty of this fresh air. Feel the beauty of the sun on my face. Experience this through me. When I get on the dance floor, come, spirit, experience this beautiful music. Experience this dance through me. Dance through me. Just for the sheer joy of experiencing. What if we also do that with our sexual experience? What would the lover essence of God's source be to you? See, a few years ago when I started with these, when I really started diving into this deeper, the four sacred laws, just before I wrote my book, I realized there was a block with some people about integrating God into their sexual experience. And I realized so many people think of God as mother, father God, which is true, but we don't want to invite our parents into the bedroom because that's just weird. But God source also comes in the essence of all relationships, the brother, the sister, the friend, and the lover. So just imagine, take a moment right now, close your eyes, go into your own little virtual reality. What would the lover essence of God's source feel to you? If you're already in a relationship, then it may be your beloved. You may just feel the spiritual essence of who they are. If you're single, imagine, are they masculine? Are they feminine? What does their voice sound like if they were to talk? What would their touch feel like if they were to touch you? What would it feel like to be in their presence and their essence? I'm giving you a little clue here for those of you who are all single, and a beautiful, powerful way to call on your beloved. And then experience this beautiful body with me, through me. Holding your hands on your heart. Remember I spoke when we're implanted into the womb, and that seed first gets planted into the womb, the first thing that develops is our heart. The rest of us builds around the heart. The heart is the center of our being. What if we taught children? And what if we made it a constant practice that even when in solo practice, we first connect with our heart, feel all the beautiful love that we have in this heart. And we always and only touch ourselves from a place of pure love. And then while in this state and moving our energy through the body, and I'm going to take you through some breath work soon, and feeling the beautiful pleasure of our body and breathing it through while holding the vision of where we want to go, whether we're calling in a beloved, whether we're calling in a beautiful new career opportunity, holding that vision of what we want to create while breathing our beautiful orgasmic energy through us without just dispersing it physically, but breathing it through our entire body, through our entire being, and then channeling it toward this vision we're creating. That, my loves, is sex transmutation. I saw another quote that Napoleon Hill wrote, that most people really achieve their success after the age of 40 or 50 because they've learned to be more mature and responsible with their sexual energy versus just dispersing it out physically and just releasing it physically, which is beautiful. But it's kind of like taking a 12-string guitar and only playing one string. We are designed as multidimensional beings, and that includes our sexual energy. All right, I'm looking at the time and I've still got more to cover. So those are the 4 sacred laws. So when you fully embody and embrace those 4 laws, those 4 key elements, and it's an ongoing practice. It's not something you just do and it's done. I wrote the book and it's always a work in progress for me as well. But when we fully embody that, when we're in integrity with that, it clears the pathways. So there's no residue, no film of energy that no longer serves us, but we're in integrity with our sexual energy. Beautiful Don Miguel Ruiz wrote the 4 agreements. One of them is be impeccable with your word. When it comes to our sexual energy, sacred sexuality, we must be impeccable with our energy. Sexual energy is a vortex. It's a portal. So we must be impeccable with the energy we infuse it with. Makeup sex is great, but we don't want to dive into it with the anger. We want to first, even if we are angry at our partner and we decide we're going to have makeup sex, take a moment to make eye contact. See the light of the divine in them. Feel the love that you have in your heart with them. And then move forward from that space. Because energy cannot be created, it cannot be destroyed, but it attracts like energy. It can be transmuted. So whatever energy we're infusing into our sexual experience is what we're calling in to our frequency. Sexual energy is powerful, it's potent. So if you're activating it from a place of lower frequency, you're drawing more of that into your life tenfold. So you always want to start with the heart. That's the center of it all, with the love, and always activate it from that place with or without a partner. Okay, so I'm just going to touch on embodying a sacred sexual practice, even if you're celibate. So, like I said, sexual energy is not always about the act of sex. It is an energy. It's our life force. The first way that you can do that is just acknowledgement. Just acknowledge the gift of your sexual energy. Acknowledge that it's this beautiful, sacred gift, the gift of life. You may want to write these down. So the first step is just acknowledgement. Second is connection. Create connection with your body and integrate that with your connection to source. And this can be done through gratitude. Thank you for this beautiful body temple. Thank you for the ability to walk. Thank you for the ability to dance. Thank you for the pleasure of touch. Thank you for all this body does for me. Thank you for all the love in my life. Thank you for all the pleasure in my life. The third is love, self-love. Kindness to your body. Be kind to your body. It's so loyal. It takes such good care of you. Love your sexual body. Love the gift of pleasure. Love the beautiful gift that this energy is. Breath. Learn to use your breath to move your energy through your body, consciously breathing your sexual energy throughout your entire body. When we breathe shallow during the actual act of sex, whether it's, again, solo or with a partner, the sexual energy stays in our lower chakras and gets dispersed out physically. When we breathe it through, it goes through our entire nervous system. Our breath, our spinal column, and our sexual energy are designed to work together. We're designed for it to move up our body throughout our entire body, to the point where you can even feel it in our fingertips and our toes. It is our divine design, or it would not be possible. And when you plug that in with your connection with God Source, magic. It's magic. And you combine that with what you're creating in your life, with what your creation is, and keep it single focus. That combined with focus on what you're creating, again, whether it's a professional goal, personal goal, holding that vision, feeling the love of that vision in your heart, combined with the activation of this energy from a place of pure love. It's so powerful. And surrender. Surrender to the beauty of love that surrounds you. Surrender to the beauty. I mean, I'm just surrendering right here to these beautiful trees outside my window that I'm gazing upon right now. Surrender. Surrender. Know that you are never alone. We each have such, I like to refer to my guides as my divine team. We are surrounded by love and divine support at all times. Surrender to that. Surrender to the knowing that you, my love, are the divine expressing in human form. You came into this body and you knew that you were coming into a beautiful orgasmic sexual body, and that was going to be a beautiful part of the human experience. So now you have the joy of celebrating life as a divine being, having a human experience in this sexual orgasmic body. Surrender to that with an open heart connection. All right, so it's going to take you quickly through a morning practice that you can do to start your day. So wherever you're sitting, make sure that your spine is nice and straight. Place one hand over your heart and one hand on your belly. And take in some nice deep breaths. And relax it out with your mouth. Again, deep breath in. And relax it out with your mouth. And again, really feeling the connection of the breath to your body. Fully tuning into the sound going in and out of your body. Fully tuning into the sensation of the breath going in and out of your body. So again, relax breath in through the nose. And let it out, relaxed. But a sound is always good. And then say, I am here now. Make that statement. And now there's a little muscle that we have. It's called the PC muscle. It's located right in where the root chakra is. That spot, and I hope this language doesn't make you uncomfortable, but that spot that's right between your genitals and your anus, that spot there is where we have, that's our perineum. And then we have our PC muscle, the pubicoccygeias muscle. It's that same muscle you squeeze when you're trying to stop yourself from going pee. That is the area that's our root chakra, where it anchors it. It's called the root for a reason. It's so important when doing a sacred sexual practice that we stay grounded and anchored into the earth, while we're moving this powerful energy upward. We don't want it to all go up, or it can be too much. We want to also keep it anchored. So on the next inhale, what we're going to do, I'm just looking at the clock, so I know we have a very short time to do this. So I'm just going to give you an abbreviated version. You're going to imagine that you're breathing up from Mother Earth, drawing it up through your root chakra. And as you feel it moving through your second chakra, you're going to squeeze that PC muscle, that same one you squeeze when you have to go pee. And imagine that that muscle is pulling up your energy, grabbing onto it and helping it go up your spinal column with your breath. And then relax it down the front of the body. So let's do 3 of those, all right? Deep inhale in, squeezing that muscle, drawing it up, and relaxing it down the body. And as you squeeze that muscle, you can also consciously activate your pleasure that is in that part of your body. So squeezing the muscle, drawing the energy up, and relaxing it down the body. Again, drawing the energy up and relaxing it down the front of the body. So that's sort of a very abbreviated version. Now, as you're breathing in this way, feeling your heart connection, drawing the energy up. Now, connect with your body. Start with your hands. Look at your hands. Imagine all the things your hands do for you. How beautiful is that? Thank you. I love you. Talk to your body parts. Now connect with your body. If you do this practice in the morning, start with this breath. Connecting with your breath, touching your arms. Thank you. I love you. Thank you for being able to hold and hug and embrace your legs. Thank you. Touch and connect with them. I love you. Thank you for being able to dance and walk. And you go through all your body parts in this way. There's a free gift, a freebie, that if you go to, anyway, the link is there. You can also get it at jaitara.com, where I take you through this connection of this body connection. So that's all I'm going to do with that. I'm looking at the time. We have 4 minutes left. I would like to give just a couple minutes to see if there's any Q&A. Wow, this time goes by fast. I could talk about this for hours. So my primary message is to you, just remember, beloved, that you are a divine spiritual being inhabiting a beautiful sexual orgasmic body, and it is our divine design. We are designed this way, or it would not be possible. And it's time for us to reclaim the powerful truth of who we are, because there's a lot of cleaning up that needs to happen on this planet. And it starts with ourselves. It starts with the energy frequency that we give off, how we embody that, the example we set, and how we pass this information on to the next generation. So I just want to share quickly with you, since we've only got a few minutes left. If you'd like to dive deeper in this work, I actually have an 8-week program. This one is specifically for women. Don't worry, men, I have something for you too. So women, beautiful goddess women. I have a limited number of spots available in my 8-week program for women who are tired of not having the deep soul connection and sexual intimacy that they desire, and have had enough of holding back all of that delicious feminine power locked up inside of you, and now you're ready to liberate it and to create much more powerfully as you were designed to do. So if you're ready to create extraordinary depth in sexual energy and create fully and unapologetically in your life with or without a partner, then I have this for you. It's going to be powerful. It's going to include private one-on-one time with me, as well as group sessions with other women. Do you want to join me? If this intrigues you, then 2 minutes left. If this intrigues you, then go to creativelifeforcemastery.com. You'll see all the details there, as well as an application form. creativelifeforcemastery.com. It'll break it down, all the details of exactly what the results will, and I guarantee the results in this program as long as you show up and do your part. Beautiful men, if you feel drawn to work with me, just email me at connect@jaitara.com, Jaitara, connect@jaitara.com, Jaitara. Send me an email, and put in the subject line from the Guidely Summit, and we will set up a time to talk and see how I can serve you in the highest way. All right, my loves, we're running out of time, so I don't know if I'll have time for Q&A. Please stay connected with me. For women, I have a group on Facebook called Feminine Artistry. If you're drawn to dive really deep in this work and just step into the full goddess that you are, ready to express fully, love fully, create deep, deep, deep connection, I encourage you to go to creativelifeforcemastery.com and let's talk about working together. I would love that, and it would be my honor. I would love to have you join me. All right, my loves, it is 10:45. It has been a deep, deep honor to serve you and my joy. I do hope that you receive some value from our time together and enjoy the rest of the day. This is a magnificent summit with so many beautiful speakers. I love you. I honor you. I see you. And it is my joy to be connected with you. Much love and many blessings to you.